Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanam Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Stadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Narayanam Gurum Vande Sharanyam Bhakta Bandhavam Gauramanu Purnam Radhadasyam Pradayakam Rupandugacharya Varyamburupa Manjari Prishtakam Patita Pavana Bandhavam Yugacharya Narayanam Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Twise Namaha Shama Sundara Shikanda Shekara Ismirahasara Murali Manohara Radhikara Sikamam Kripanide Swapriya Charana Kinkarim Kuru Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindai Tulasi Devyai Priyai Keshavascha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Sattavatyai Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I begin offering my most humble obeisances to the dust of the lotus feet of Paramardatama Shri Guru Pada Padma Nitlila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Paribrajaka Ashtotara Satasi Sri Madhusla Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudeva, and to my most worshipable Shikshan Sannyasa Guru Nitrila Pravistom Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Acharya Ashtotara Satasi Sri Madhu Srila Bhakti Vigyana Bharati Goswami Maharaj, and to all Shirupa Gauriya Guru Varga, to all Tridandi Sannyasis, Brahmacharis, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, and to all the assembled devotees here today, my most respectful obeisances. Okay, so by the causeless mercy of Srila Gurudeva and all Mahabhagavatas Acharyas, we are able to assemble here one more time to continue reading from Sri Ramananda Samvada, the chapter about Radha Tattva. So we are continuing with the descriptions of the different functions that Swarupa Shakti takes, right? I remember last time I asked how many Shaktis Krishna has, right? And the answer was given by, what is the Madhuvrat Prabhu, right? That Krishna has only one Shakti. That one Shakti, Swarup Shakti, Purna Shakti, she will divide herself in so many different other functions. So now this verse from Vishnu Purana. Ladini Sandini Samvi Tvai Eka Sarva Samstito Lada Tapa Kari Mishra Tai No Guna Varjite. O Bhagavan, you are the shelter of everything. Your three spiritual potencies, Ladini, Sandini, and Samvit, are always present within you. When the material energy acts upon the conditioned soul, he experiences happiness, misery, and a mixture of the two. None of these, however, are able to touch you, as the material energy has no influence upon you. Upon you means the soul. We are soul. And that soul has a body. And that body is actually manufactured by the influence of the material nature, the material energies, right? And makes us experience happiness and distress, sometimes mixture. But you, in the sense, no, sorry, this you here means Bhagavan. So Bhagavan, you, sorry, I'm just a little bit messed up here. So, so you, Bhagavan, you are means made out of these three potencies, Ladini, Sandhini, and Samvit. Ladini means what? Pleasure potency, Ananda potency. Sandhini means existence potency. And Samvit means the cognizance potency, chit potency. So the meaning here is that the three potencies, Ladini, Sandhini, and Samvit, exist within Shri Krishna's own form. So they are always within him, but they are never fully within the jivas. Bhagavan is beyond the influence of the material energy, which consists of the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Thus, it is never possible for the potency of the mode of goodness, which gives material happiness, to the mind. The potency of the material ignorance, which gives suffering, and the potency of the mode of passion, which gives a mixture of both. To touch Shri Krishna. So these three gunas, they can never touch Krishna. But when the individual soul, who is a minute particle of consciousness, is controlled by the material energy, he obtains the three different results when he takes shelter of the three modes of the material energy. Bhagavan, who is beyond the modes of material nature, and his Swarupa Shakti are always one. She is always present in a supremely pure state, devoid of any touch of the material quality. Thus, the internal potency is always separate from these three modes of nature. Furthermore, Bhagavan Shri Krishna is the presiding deity of these three modes of material nature, headed by the mode of goodness. These material energies permanently reside under the shelter of the Lord, as do the bliss and the other potencies. The difference is that the three varieties of Swarup Shakti, Ladini, Sandhini, and Samvit, are always non-different from the actual Swarupa of Shri Krishna. Goodness, passion, and ignorance are functions of his external, illusory potency, and they are not in the category of his internal energy. Thus, even though he is the presiding deity of the external potency, which is endowed with the three modes of nature, still he always remains untouched by them. This is a very basic thing, very simple thing. I'm not going to comment anything. It's just, very basic description. So then next verse. Krishna ki halade tate nama haladini sei shakti dare sukha aswadayapani sukha rupa Krishna kore sukha aswadan bhaktagani sukha dite ladini karan. The potency that gives Bhagavan Shri Krishna transcendental pleasure is called haladini. By this pleasure potency, Shri Krishna personally tastes all spiritual pleasure, even though he is the very embodiment of bliss. This potency also gives happiness to the devotees. So function of Ladini means Ananda Shakti. What is that? Give pleasure to Krishna and also to the devotees. Every one of the eternal symptoms of Swarup Shakti is present in full in Chit Shakti, minutely present in Jiva Shakti, and present in a distorted manner in the external energy Maya Shakti. It's good to say the minutely presence of Chit Shakti in Jiva Shakti, because Jiva is half spiritual and half contaminated by also material nature. It's made out of spiritual ingredient, but not that much as Bhagavan. Therefore, that minute portion of Chit Shakti in the Jiva, it is not enough to overcome Maya by itself. So it can be eclipsed by Maya. Although it is spiritual, it's not enough to overcome Maya's power. Therefore, it comes under the control of Maya. Because Jiva is not Purna Shakti, also not Shaktiman. So therefore, although Jiva has Chit Shakti, it's not enough to protect itself from Maya. So as mentioned above, Haladini, Sandhini, and Samvit are three functions of Swarup Shakti. In Dashamula Shiksha, instruction of 10 fundamental principles by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we find this explanation. The number 4, Dashamula Tattva. I'm not going to read, just the translation. There are three functions of Swarupa Shakti. Shri Krishna remains perpetually immersed in the ecstatic transformations of the bliss potency, Haladini Shakti. By manifesting the internal and confidential devotional sentiments through knowledge potency, Samvit Shakti, he always enjoying the mellows of loving exchanges. And by the existence potency, Sandhini, the pure abode of Vrindavan is manifested, where Shri Krishna, who always performs blissful pastimes, eternally sinks by his own volition in the ocean of Brajaras. So, again, very basic description of the three functions of Swarup Shakti. So, in summary, the influence of the three aspects of Swarup Shakti, Haladini, Sandhini, and Samvit, is seen throughout all the activities of the cognizance potency, the marginal potency, and the external potency. The daughter of Sri Vrishabhanu Maharaj, Srimati Radhika, is the personification of the pleasure function of Swarupa Shakti, and she always bestows complete transcendental happiness upon Sri Krishna. Srimati Radhika is made of Mahabhav, and she always giving all varieties of bliss to him. Her non-different expansions, Kaya Vyuha Swarup, in the form of the 8 principal gopis, are her 8 different bhavas. Means every gopi is a manifestation of Srimati Radhika's bhava, or different moods. They come into shape as different gopis. So the 8 principal moods become the 8 principal Sakhis. And her 4 moods of service eternally manifest as the 4 types of Sakhis, namely Priya Sakhi, Pran Sakhi, Narma Sakhi, and Param Prishta Sakhi. All of them are eternally perfected Sakhis, Nitya Siddha Sakhis, present in the Vrindavan of the spiritual realm. The cognizance, Samvit function of Swarupa Shakti manifests all the different relationships in Braja. So, the different relationships mean the different rasas. Madhurya, Vatsalya, Sakhya, Dasya, and Shanta. They all manifested by the function Samvit. Means cognizance, means the difference, the different types of knowledge of relationship, Sambandha Jnana, that you have with Krishna. This is the different 4 types of rasas. Therefore, it comes in the category of Samvit. Because what is real knowledge? What is real capacity of cognition? That means always based on the relationship with Krishna. Everything is based on the relationship with Krishna. So real knowledge means, who am I? Who am I? Who is Krishna? But especially, what is my relation with Krishna? Because my existence depends on my relation with Krishna. So automatically, the idea of existing in the transcendental world means existing for Krishna. It is intrinsic there, right? There is only the possibility of existing in relation to Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. There is no separate existence or desire or anything like that. Okay? So therefore, this is coming all from Samvit function of Swarup Shakti. The existence function, Sandhini Vritti. Vritti means function. Manifests the transcendental land, bodies of water, villages, primary and subsidiary forests, mountains like Sri Giri Govardhana, and other scenic places where Shri Krishna and his associates perform their pastimes. Moreover, the Sandhini Vritti gives rise to the transcendental forms of Shri Krishna, Sri Radha, the Sakas and Sakis, cows, and very other servant and maidservant of Braja, as well as all the completely spiritual paraphernalia used in their pastimes. Shri Krishna forever remains immersed in the supreme bliss of the loving transformation of the pleasure function Ladini Vritti, while the full variety of bhavas generated by the cognizance function Samvit Vritti provides him with the tastes of loving mellows or rasa, what I just explained before. Shri Krishna expands such pastimes as attracting the gopis by playing his flute, cow grazing, rasa lila, and other such pastimes by the agency of the cognizance function of his internal energy, Parashakti. Brajavilasi Shri Krishna, he who eternally enjoys pastimes in Vrindavan, always remains absorbed in the divine abode, manifested by the existence function Sandhini Vritti. So Sandhini is the platform upon which everything will happen. And what is happening? It is happening the existence of the individuals there based on their eternal relationship with Krishna, then that is Samvit. And plus that service, that relationship produces what? Ananda, Haladini. So these are the three basic interactions are there, okay? It's interesting to also clarify one point, is that commonly we say that, Baladeva is Sandhini, Krishna is Samvit, and Radharani is Haladini, right? But technically it's not like that. It means they preside over these potencies. They preside over, but they are not these potencies. Understand, all these potencies are coming from Radharani. All these are manifestation of Swarup Shakti. But when they divide, then Krishna presides over one, Baladev presides over another one, and Radharani herself, she also presides over another one. Right? So just some grammatical, thing that we should not say that this is Krishna or Krishna is Sandhini. Is what? Is in charge of, means presiding that. Okay, just some technical thing. Because otherwise we will say that Krishna is Shakti and Baladeva is Shakti. They are not Shaktis. They are Purushas, but they just preside over that. And Radha also, she's not Purusha, but she's presiding over that one. So in this way, the thing is, these are all what? Manifestation of Parashakti or Swarupa Shakti. Okay? Ultimately, this is all Radharani. Our Radharani. We say that Vrindavan is a manifestation of what? Radharani's heart. Right? So how can we say that all Vrindavan is Baladev Prabhu? Not possible. He's just presiding over that. He's managing that. In that way, in that sense. So then there, what will happen when these three combined are there? Means place, parikar, then Ananda. What will happen? Lila. Lila must be there. Lila is the interaction between Krishna and his parikaras and his eternal associates. Then cow grazing, flute playing, rasa lila, and so many other things. It must happen. Must happen. When we say actually Krishna, in the true sense, he is never alone. He's never alone. He's always with what? Dhamma, Parikar, and Lila. Dhamma, Parikar, Lila, and also from his own side, Nama, Guna, Rupa, and Lila also. His name must be changed. In a general sense, if you say Krishna also, you actually does not mean anything, right? Which Krishna? From where? In relation with whom? In which context? Gurudev always stressed that point. If you just say Krishna randomly, you actually technically not mentioning anything. It can be Dwarkadish Krishna, can be Mathuresh Krishna, it can be Vrindavan Krishna, Brajesh Krishna. In Vrindavan, Krishna has also so many types of relations, so many different Krishnas are there, according to his names. Then different pastimes will be there. So as we progress in our understanding of bhakti, bhakti rasa must be understood. So this is what Srila Gurudeva came to, actually what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, to give us is bhakti rasa. And that was expanded and presented in a very scientific, academic way by the Goswamis, especially Srila Rupa Goswami Pada, who wrote what? Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Is Bhakti Rasa. And also Srila Gurudev, all our acharyas, they have presented that. So one more example is there. Srila Gurudev used to say, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he went to the Western countries, to the whole world, preaching that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not any other Devata, not Narayan, not Ram, not Shiva, not no any other names. Mahavishnu, Paramatma, no. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Gurudev, when he came, he said, no, I have come to preach that Krishna is not God. Why? Because this is called Bhakti Rasa. Before Srila Prabhupada preached Bhakti Tattva, Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam, Krishna is Supreme Lord, Bhagavan. And then Gurudeva say, no, from Bhakti Rasa perspective, Krishna is not God. Why? Because in Braj, no one believes Krishna is God. Everyone thinks in Braj that Krishna is what? My beloved, my son, my friend, like that. So Krishna will always exist based on some relation, some rasa, based on the 5 types of rasas. So that knowledge is actual knowledge. This is the actual knowledge. And this is in the category of bhakti rasa. So this is what Gurudev and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and our Guru Varga, they wanted us to actually understand and realize. And based on that, we should develop our devotion. So this is also Brajarasa, Brajarasa, Bhakti Rasa. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came for what? There is that very famous shloka, which says, Prem Rasa Niryas Korite Aswadan, Rag Marga Bhakti Loke Korite Prachar. Rasikshakar Krishna Parama Karuna, Edui Hetu Haiti Char Udgama. This verse can be expanded and explained in so many ways. But one very particular line is there. This is called Rag Marga Bhakti Loke Korite Prachar. Means Mahaprabhu came to preach Raganuga Bhakti to all. So that is the direct meaning. But Srila Gurudeva also explained that, look, in true fact, Raganuga Bhakti cannot be preached. Only Vaidhi Bhakti can be preached. So you preach Vaidhi Bhakti and you develop that into Raganuga Bhakti by the qualification of the devotees. So Gurudeva, he gave these two sides of this verse. So when he says that, actually you cannot preach Ragamarga. Ragamarga can be what? Cultivated by your own, greed. So that comes another, another side of the process, which depends on the practitioner of the devotee. If you have no greed for Raganuga Bhakti, then you cannot achieve it. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati, again Bhakti Rasa. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati Kriyatam Jadi Kutopi Labhyate Tatralolyam Api Mulyam Ekalam Janma Koti Sukrite Nalabhyate. Means you can practice all the limbs of bhakti for millions of lives. It means you can practice Vaidhi Bhakti. But if you have no greed, actual greed to attain that Bhakti Rasa, then you can never achieve it. Even by millions of births of practicing Vaidhi Bhakti, you cannot come to that point, only if you have greed. So if greed depends on the devotee, you cannot preach that. You can actually help the devotee to cultivate, but the real preaching is what? Is Vaidhi Bhakti. Accept Krishna's Bhagavan, follow the principles, take initiation in the proper parampara. Then what is the meaning of Bhakti Loke Korite Prachar? So Gurudev explained that, this actually means Bhakti Lok. Bhakti Lok means the associates, the eternal associates of Krishna in all his incarnations. Mahaprabhu is giving them the opportunity to taste what? This Bhakti Rasa, this Rag Marga. So in Mahaprabhu's Lila, all the parikaras, they come together, right? It is the only incarnation which can, bring all parikaras together from all avatars, from all incarnations. They come together in Mahaprabhu's Lila. In that sense, Mahaprabhu is actually giving the chance to all the parikaras to taste what is this Bhakti Rasa. Because the incarnations from Vaikuntha, from Ayodhya, from Dwaraka, they cannot taste this Bhakti Rasa, this Braja Rasa. And especially this Unatto Jala Prema. They have no access to all these things in their respective Leelas. But in Mahaprabhu's Leela, even them will get it. Even them will have some taste of what is Ragamarga, what is to taste this Bhakti Rasa. And how they will do that? Through Harinama Sankirtan. So Mahaprabhu is not Mahavadanya, not the greatest giver only to the Badajivas. He's the greatest because he's giving that to everyone, literally to everyone. And he's making everyone come. Murari Gupta will come, he's Hanuman in Ram Lila. Murari Gupta, he will come and he will join that Sankirtan and he will taste that. And all the different parikaras. Pancha Pandavas, they will come as the son of Bhavananda Rai. All of them, they will come and they will join that Sankirtan. And by that Sankirtan, they will taste this Braja Prema. They will taste what also this Radha Prema. They will taste also this Radha Dasyam. Therefore, Mahaprabhu's Lila, this is the most astonishing Lila. Adbhuta Lila. This is the pinnacle of Krishna Lila. So this is Gaura Lila. Without Gaura Lila, Krishna Lila is never complete. Never complete. So in this way, we can understand that. How Mahaprabhu becomes the greatest giver of that bhakti rasa, the whole universe. The whole universe. They cannot taste it in the true sense in that context of Braja. But Mahaprabhu brings that out of, and he puts in that Prema Nama Sankirtan, and he's spreading that. And everyone can have some glimpse, not fully, of course, but have some glimpse, some idea of what is that. So anyway, so let us come back now to the subject here. So the Jiva Shakti is a minute potency that is reliant or reliant, I'm not sure about the pronunciation, upon Swarupa Shakti. The three tendencies of Swarupa Shakti are only present minutely in the Jiva Shakti. Okay, minutely. But the three are there. In the Jiva, the bliss function Ladini is present in the form of Brahmananda. The bliss achieved through realization of the formless Brahman means when the Jiva will merge into the Brahma. It is possible. They go there for some time. And what they will feel? They will feel that Brahmananda, the bliss coming from the Brahma, that will resonate with the bliss present within the soul, right? Then the cognizance function, samviti vritti, is present as a knowledge of the impersonal Brahma. And the existence function, sandhini vritti, is always present as a minute individual consciousness. Likewise, the three functions of Swarupa Shakti are present in Maya Shakti as well. The bliss function is present in the form of material happiness. The cognizance function is present as material knowledge, and existence function takes the form of the entire material creation, including this universe composed of 14 planetary systems and the material bodies of the jivas. So ultimately, everything is coming from Swarupa Shakti. Everything has some part of it. Some reflections are there. We are only able to experience any type of pleasure or happiness in this world because we have in us Ananda. Bhagavan is Sachitananda, we are also Sachitananda. But Bhagavan, he is what? Vibhu, he is colossal, he is absolute. But jivas are anu, minute, atomic. Maya Shakti is perverted or reflected form of the superior internal energy of Bhagavan. In fact, Maya Shakti is only a name for the transformation of Bhagavan's Para Shakti, and its shadow. It is not a separate, independent power. Maya is the sole cause of the jiva's bondage and also his liberation. When the jiva's orientation is opposed to Shri Krishna, Maya at once places him in bondage and punishes him. And when the jiva turns towards Shri Krishna, Maya bestows knowledge of Shri Krishna upon the jiva by manifesting the material mode of goodness, Sattva Guna, and liberates him from the ocean of birth and death, thus making him qualified for Krishna Prema. Bound by Maya in the form of the three modes of material nature, the jiva is unable to understand that the pure form of Maya is the Swarupa Shakti of Bhagavan, and instead considers the shadow known as Maya to be the prominent potency. When we are identified with the material nature, then we consider Maya to be prominent. But interesting thing also is that what is that? This Shakti, it's not independent. Like in India, you have the sect of the Shaktas, like those who worship Durga, Kali, Bhairavi, Chandi, Vaishnavi, all the variations of Durga Devi, all the names of Durga Devi. They think that these are independent potencies. This is very well explained by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the Jaiva Dharma, chapter 9. I'm just reading that now in Portuguese for the devotees. So there, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explains that no, Maya or the Shakti itself is not independent, does not exist by itself. Maya or means this material potency or the material Shakti or any Shakti exists because of the possessor of that Shakti. So therefore, you cannot worship Shakti alone. You must worship also Shaktiman. So in this way, those who only worship Durga and they think Durga is independent and she can do whatever, and you know, she's the cause. No, she's not the cause. Shakti is not the cause. The cause is the possessor of the Shakti. Why is that? For example, I have an arm. I have a power to move my arm. But that power of moving my arm is not controlling my arm. Who controls my arm? My desire. So I possess the Shakti, I possess the arm, and I control that. So when I want, I move my arm. My arm is not moving by itself. So in the same way, Shakti is not acting independently. Shakti depends on the Shaktiman. She is subjected. That we have to understand. She is subjected. All Shaktis are subjected to Shaktiman. In this way. Okay, next verse. Haladinira Sara Amsha Tara Premanam Ananda Chimoya Rupara Sira Akhyan Primera Paramasara Mahabhava Jani Say Mahabhava Ruparada Thakurani. The most essential part of this pleasure potency or Ladini Shakti is called Prema, also known as Ananda Chimoya Ras, the mellow of the transcendental bliss. This mellow can only be tasted by Prema. The essence of Prema is called Mahabhava, which is personified in Sri Radha Thakurani. Tarorapi Ubhayur Madhe Radhika Sarvatadika Mahabhava Swarupayam Gunair Ativaryashi Ujla Nilamani 4.3. Between the two gopis, Radhika and Chandravali, Sri Radhika is superior in every respect because her very form is composed of the highest expansions of love, Mahabhava. By qualities, she far outshines all the other beautiful damsels of Braja. Tapani Shrutis call Sri Radha Gandharva. The fundamental truths about Sri Radha are unprecedented and astonishing. Primera Swarupa Deha, Primera Bhavita, Krishnera Priyasi Shrishta Jagate Vidita. Sri Radha's nature is comprised of prema, and her body is also made of prema. She is the most excellent of all of Sri Krishna's beloveds. This fundamental truth is known throughout the entire creation. Then now he's quoting Brahma Samhita 5:37. Ananda Chimaya Rasa Pratibhavitavis Tabira Eva Nija Rupataya Kalabi Goloka Eva Nivasatta Kilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Famous verse. Sri Govinda, who is all pervading and who exists within the hearts of all, resides in his Golokadham along with Sri Radha, who is an embodiment of his pleasure potency and a counterpart of his own spiritual form. She is the epitome of transcendental rasa and is expert in 64 arts. They are also accompanied by the Sakhis, who are expansions of Sri Radha's own transcendental body and who are infused with blissful spiritual rasa. I worship that original personality, Sri Govinda. So Lord Brahma, Brahma, he knows everything. Therefore, Brahma, he composed this Brahma Samhita. In this Brahma Samhita, many very secret truths are there, especially about Bhakti Rasa. So, and this is one of the verses. But you know, Brahma, not ordinary personality. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he mentions one of his commentaries of Brahma Samhita, that after receiving Diksha from Krishna, means receiving Kam Gayatri, Gopal Mantra from Krishna, Brahma, he began to meditate and he has a spurti, a vision of the Goloka Vrindavan, and he sees all this, Krishna playing with gopis, he sees everything. He has direct darshan of Rasa Lila and so many things. And even he contemplates himself as a having gopi body. And by that, he's serving the divine cup. So Prabhupada does not elaborate much further on these things, but he gives this hint. Later, what happened? Brahmaji, he was, by the will of Krishna, overcome by the power of Mahamaya, or Jogamaya actually. And then he performs that pastimes of stealing the calves and the cows and the sakas. Sorry, the cows, no, the sakas and the calves, to actually provoke this very wonderful pastime is Brahma Vimohan Lila pastime. But actually Brahma is, he's Siddha Swarup. He is perfected. He knows everything. If you read Brahma Samhita, you see there how he has totally access of everything. Later he forgets it for the sake of pastime only. Therefore, he's able to write all these things because he's in Samadhi. And by that, he's able to see how Krishna is surrounded by the gopis and Srimati Radhika is sitting with him, and how she is so glorious, how she is the source of all Krishna's happiness, how she is the Swarup Shakti, how everything comes from her. She's all in all. So some desire for also Radha Dasyam is there. This is very beautiful. Also it is there in the heart of Brahmaji. So, and therefore he comes also in Gauralila, in the body of Haridas Thakur. So, and he's going to taste that also, again, in a different way, through that Premanama Sankirtan. I think last time I explained to you people, I don't know, or if it was another lecture, but I mentioned why Mahaprabhu sent Nityananda and Haridas to preach. You remember, was last lecture? No. Was, Here? No, Why Mahaprabhu sent these two personalities, Nityananda and Haridas Thakur, to preach? Why is that so symbolically important? Nityananda is Guru. Guru is, giving mercy. Guru is starting this bhakti. But actually, in this Mahaprabhu's age, everything will come through what? Harinam. Therefore, the Namacharya must be there. The Namacharya Haridas Thakur. You can only taste this prema rasa, this bhakti rasa through Harinam. Without chanting Harinam, you cannot taste anything. Therefore, Mahaprabhu very clearly he sent both for preaching. So if you're not chanting, then you cannot experience that. You cannot have access to that. Because the key to open this door of bhakti rasa is chanting Harinam. So in this way, Haridas Thakur, Namacharya, is full-time absorbed only chanting. This is very symbolically presented. Not only with Guru's mercy is possible, not only by Nityananda is going giving mercy to everyone, but you have to do your side. And what is that? Chanting. should chant Harinam in two aspects. In your japa with Mahamantra Hare Krishna and also with the Gayatri mantras. Both, this is called chanting. Okay. So Srila Jiva Goswami identifies the planet of the gopis as none other than Golokadam. Shri Krishna only resides where the gopis reside. The phrase Nija Rupataya Kalabhi means that the gopi beloveds of Shri Krishna are actually his parts, non different from himself, and the very embodiment of the essential function of Ladini Shakti. They are expansions of Unatto Jala Rasa, or the amorous mellow. And because of their complete immersion in the transcendental ecstasy, they are suddenly Shri Krishna's dearmost beloveds. The word Pratibhavita indicates those gopis who have immersed themselves completely in the Prema Rasa for the king of mellows, Shri Krishna. Moreover, it indicates those gopis whose hearts, being inundated by a deluge of his loving affection, have themselves been loved by him. By offering him such wonderful and expert affection, the gopis bestowed upon Shri Krishna a greatly beneficial gift. The functions of the pleasury potency Haladini Shakti are all manifested in the form of different arts. So the verse also speaks about the 64 arts, how they are qualified in that, especially Srimati Radhika. The arts number 64. 1, Nritya, dancing. Gita, singing. Vaidya, playing on musical instruments. 4, Natya, performing theater. 5th, Alikya, painting. 6, Vaishesha Khachedya, painting the face and body with colored unguents and cosmetics. 7, Tandula Kusuma Bali Vikar, preparing offerings from rice and flowers. 8, Pushpa Tarana, making coverings of flowers for a bed. 9, Dashana Vasanangaraga, applying preparations for cleansing the teeth and coloring the cloth and body. 10, Mani Bhumika Karma, making a groundwork of jewels. 11, Shaya Rachana, preparing the pastime bed. 12, Udaka Vadya, playing music on the water, or Udaka Ghata, splashing with water. 13, Chitra Yoga, painting. 14, Malya Grathana Vikalpa, designing varieties of gardens. 15, Shikkarapida Yojan, setting a crown upon the head. 16, Nepatya Yoga, dressing in the retiring room. 17, Karnapatra Bhanga, decorating the ears. 18, Sugandha Yukti, applying scents. 19, Bhushana Yojana, applying or setting ornaments. 20, Aindra Jala, performing jugglery. 21, Kauchumara Yoga, engaging in decorative art. 22, Hasta Laghava, tricking others with sleight of hand. 23, Chitra Sakapupa, I think maybe Pushpa, Bhaksha Vikara Kriya, preparing varieties of salad, bread, cake, and delicious edible, not Pushpa, but Pupa itself. 24, Panaka Rasa Ragasava Yojana, preparing palatable drinks and tinging drinks with a red color, means putting red pigment. 25, Suchi Vaya Karma, doing needlework and weaving. 26, Sutra Krida, playing with thread. 27, Vina Damaruka Vadya, playing on the lute and the small X-shaped drum. 28, Prahelika, posing and solving riddles. 29, Pratimala, reciting a verse as a trial of memory or skill. 30, Durvachakka Yoga, speaking in a way that is difficult to understand. 31, Pushtaka Vachan, reciting books. 32, Natika Kyaika Darshana, enacting short plays and anecdotes. 33. Kavya Samasya Purana, resolving unfathomable statements, verses or poetry. 34. Patika Vetra Bana Vikalpa, designing shields, canes, and arrows. 35. Tarku Karma, spinning. 36. Takshana, doing carpentry. 37. Vastu Vidya, engineering. 38. Rupya Ratna Pariksha, testing silver and jewels. 39. Dhatu Vada, practicing metallurgy. 40. Maniraga Jnana, coloring jewels. 41. Akara Jnana, practicing mineralogy. 42. Vriksha Ayurveda Yoga, practicing medical treatment by herbs. 43. Mesha Kukuta Savaka Yuddha Vidhi, training the rams, cocks, and birds to fight. 44. Shuka Sharika Pralapana, training male and female pairs to converse and also understanding their conversations. 45. Utsadana, using perfumes to heal or cleanse a person. 46. Kesha Marjana Kaushal, combing and decorating hair. 47. Akshara Mustika Katana, talking with letters and fingers. 48. Milechita Kutarka Vikalpa, fabricating barbarous philosophies or foreign sophistry. 49. Desha Bhasha Jnana, knowing provincial dialects. 50. Pushpa Shakatika Nirmiti Jnana, preparing of toy cards using flowers. 51. Jantra Matrika, knowing the art of designing yantras. 52. Dharana Matrika, wearing and using yantras. 53. Samvacha, conversing. 54. Manasi Kavya Kriya, composing verses mentally. 55. Kriya Vikalpa, designing words to defeat another. 57. Avidhana Kosha Chanda Jnana, using lexicography and meters. 58. Vastra Gopan, concealing cloths. 59. Dutta Vishesha, specific gambling. 60. Akarsha Krida, playing with dice by using magnets. 61. Balaka Kridanaka, using children's toys. 62. Vainaiki Vidya, enforcing discipline. 63. Vaijaiki Vidya, gaining victory. And 64. Vaitaliki Vidya, awakening one's master with music at dawn. Wow. So all the 64 beautiful arts practiced by the gopis. Jayashri, how many you are expert in doing?
None.
Oh, no, you must have. You must know something. Chandrika Mataji also, huh? You know so many, huh? Isha Thakurani knows. She knows cooking. Italian cooking is one type of art. Huh? Definitely. I don't know any of them. I am definitely lost in all of them. So anyway, this is what we expect to learn in the future. We should learn. We should become qualified in all these 64 arts to be able to serve the divine couple. So this should be our aspiration. So all of these artistic abilities are eternally present in their personified forms in Golokadam. By the help of his beloved friend, the flute, Sri Govinda, the hero of Golok, accepts and enacts his pastimes, such as Rasa Lila. There too, the gopis, since time without beginning, retain the feeling that they are his beloveds, while married to another man. Shri Krishna tastes this mood in one form in the spiritual realm, Golok, and in another form in the Vrindavan of this world called Gokula. So this is called Parakya Rasa. This Parakya Rasa is the very life of Krishna's pastimes. Without Parakya Rasa, then Madhurya cannot be, not completed, cannot be, developed to its, completeness and fullness. Okay, so we're going to stop here today and continue in the next class. Hare Krishna.